Across all history, the truly strong remain shrouded deep in darkness, hidden from society. They carefully erase all traces of their existence, so that when later generations look back on history, it is as if they were never there. But sometimes, even the most perfect plans to erase one's tracks leave unexpected loose ends. This tome was one of those loose ends, left behind in charred ruins. What secrets lie within?
Zasalamel created me. A banal way to begin a tome, but writing down one's own history in a book is strange enough to begin with. I began writing this as an indulgent pastime, so I may as well enjoy myself. Now, about the cursed sword known as Soul Edge. I intend to record its secrets in this very tome. However, I must exercise caution. A fitting end awaits all who seek the cursed sword. Some may laugh and call this an exaggeration. Should anyone who has held that sword ever read this tome, though, I'm certain they'll agree with me. The origin of Soul Edge is a mystery. Legend says it was once an ordinary sword, void of any power. But after fighting on countless battlefields, it gathered a great deal of negative power, until a curse fell upon it. That much is true. All who took Soul Edge in their hands became slaves to the blade, murdering until they bled their last drop of blood. That is why so few know of it, despite its appearances time and time again throughout history. Until, that is, an age-long past, when there appeared a man with a mind powerful enough to resist the sword's control. He was known as the Hero King. In that ancient age, great change came only through war. Thus, controlling Soul Edge meant ruling the world. The Hero King, being the man he was, one could say it was inevitable that he would bring peace to this warring world. I won't record the Hero King's name here. Someday I may decide the time is right to reveal it, but that time isn't now. It is said the Hero King lost Soul Edge due to his jealous son. After the Hero King killed his son, the spirit sword Soul Calibur was born from the remnants of the cursed sword. Indeed, the cursed sword and the spirit sword both come from the very same steel. While the name Soul Edge is known to a select few, the name Soul Calibur is known to almost no one. There is a reason the spirit sword was never revealed to the world. Some say the Hero King created the spirit sword, but the truth is that the Hero King risked his life and failed. Those who would carry on the dead king's wish and perfect Soul Calibur were to come later. They were known as the Guardians of the Spirit Sword. Like a thief in the night, they took the Spirit Sword and withdrew into the dark recesses of history. They told others of the Hero King's Spirit Sword, and that they were going into hiding to both prevent Soul Calibur from being used for evil and to prepare for the threat of Soul Edge. The Guardians of the Spirit Sword only entrust Soul Calibur to a select few. One recent example was a king from medieval Europe. Born in Britain, the king used the Spirit Sword to rule a large swath of Europe. I'm skeptical as to whether the king ever truly existed. But assuming the tales are true, he was somehow connected with the guardians of the Spirit Sword, from whom he received the blade. Also, it would be reasonable to assume the king fought with the one who possessed the cursed sword and won. After the king's death, though, no one knows what happened to the Spirit Sword. Perhaps we should assume it eventually found its way back to the guardians of the Spirit Sword. But it should be noted that their power had dwindled greatly by that time. At the same time, there were those who awaited the second coming of the king. On the eve of the king's passing, a loyal knight set forth to find the Spirit Sword and restore the crown. That was the start of the secret society known as the Aval Organization. They hid themselves well for a considerably long period of time. Not even I learned of their inner workings until quite recently. Sworn to the late king, the Aval Organization sought the Spirit Sword and secretly assassinated all whom they deemed outsiders, those who were aligned with the cursed sword or did harm to humankind. A deeper look, however, reveals there was some unrest hidden below the organization's seemingly unshakable exterior. After slumbering in the shadows of history, Soul Edge was awakened by the pirate Cervantes de Leon. Cervantes attacked the ship of one who had won Soul Edge at an auction. He stole the cursed sword and became its puppet. Soul Edge changes its form depending on its wielder. When Cervantes took up the cursed sword, it transformed into 2 blades. And after nearly 30 years of slumber, it caused that terrible catastrophe. Cervantes and the cursed sword were defeated by a female warrior, and one of the blades was destroyed. Shattering without coming in contact with the Spirit Sword was a first for Soul Edge. Immediately afterwards, the evil seed occurred. The evil within Soul Edge was unleashed upon the entire world. Why did the evil seed occur? What havoc did it wreak where it landed? Not even I have any way of discerning this. But one thing is certain. Ever since that day, the cursed sword's malfested kin have been swiftly multiplying. What does it mean to be malfested? It's extremely hard to define, for the resulting phenomena are so varied. There are those who undergo monstrous transformations, while others look no different from ordinary humans at first glance. In addition to humans, some animals have experienced transformations as well. Common traits of the malfested include heightened fighting instincts and violent tendencies. Some become beasts, hungry only for slaughter, while others use strategy to entrap powerful foes. But they all slip into towns and cities, seeking blood under the cover of darkness. Some time after the evil seed, the Azure Knight Nightmare appeared. Rumors said he possessed Soul Edge, and his string of indiscriminate murder seemed to agree with this. Personally, I was also interested in discovering this knight's true identity. I then received news that the Aval Organization had encountered him and were defeated. It intrigued me that there seemed to be someone in their organization deeply interested in the evil seed. While Soul Edge has appeared constantly throughout history, Soul Calibur's whereabouts are still shrouded in mystery. In time, I lost interest and gave up trying to search for any traces of it. But after resuming my search later, I found that it had been taken to a temple in the east at some point. With it were taken a staff able to absorb all manner of energy, and a mirror capable of purifying evil. These sacred treasures were used to create Soul Calibur and amplify its power. No one knows what had happened to the Guardians of the Spirit Sword, but they must have met with ruin, losing the Spirit Sword and their other treasures. As for the temple, it later became Ling Sheng Su, a famous martial arts dojo that worshipped the Spirit Sword and the other weapons as the three sacred treasures. But now the Spirit Sword is no longer there. The evil seed deeply affected Ling Sheng Su, and most likely caused it to attract evil energy. Its martial arts students were soon overcome by madness and battle lust, and ended up killing each other. The temple fell in a single night. Therefore, no one knows what happened to the Spirit Sword. Only one student of Ling Sheng Su survived. While the survivor didn't possess Soul Calibur, there was clearly merit in looking into him. What powers did he possess? What could he accomplish? I was deeply intrigued. I only started writing this tome as a pastime, but in order to give it a clear perspective, I must reveal my identity. I was once one of the Guardians of the Spirit Sword. The precepts of the Guardians were very strict, one of which stated no Guardian may ever touch Soul Calibur. But in my younger days, I failed to properly suppress my urges. When the others discovered my designs, they broke my arms and banished me. Amid my despair, I searched for a way to survive. What I discovered was the art of reincarnation. After a long period of training, I mastered the secrets contained within this lost wisdom. I reincarnated myself over and over again, and became an entity that could transcend generations. At first, I didn't realize the price I would have to pay for eternal life. For every time I reincarnated, I experienced the pain of death. It felt like my soul was being crushed. It is hard to put such pain and suffering in words. Indeed, I hadn't managed to completely escape death. No matter what one may accomplish in life, death remains inescapable. My bodies have lain in countless graves, but my soul will never rest in peace. So it was that I came to yearn for the final eternal death I could never have. And such desire began to corrupt my everlasting life. Gradually, I began to seek out death itself. That was 1,000 years ago. My desire for death was at its peak. That longing for true death led me to even take hold of Soul Edge. Wisdom, power, battle lust. In those days, I felt I could do anything. But when it was over, I was forced to confront just how prideful I had been. As a puppet of the cursed sword, I kept fighting to my last breath. And for what? I fought in an age of endless war that spanned the world, all to establish a certain dynasty. That is all I'll say on the matter. I've lived as every type of person. Old, young, man, woman. But I've never felt as much joy as when I wielded that power. However, not even the cursed sword could free me from the chains of samsara. And so I died, and was born again into this world.
In a remote corner of lands to the east, there is a village of wind worshippers who live in harmony with nature. Talim was born into a family of shamans and raised as the last priestess of the winds amid the encroaching Western civilization that threatened their way of life. Due to her great sensitivity to the spirit world, Talim was heavily affected by the evil seed and nearly died. As time passed, Westerners began to visit her village, and one happened to bring with him a certain metal shard. The elders who saw this vitality charm instantly realized it was dangerous, for it was a shard of the cursed sword, Soul Edge.
Such an evil aura. This must have come from beyond the currents of the winds.
It is far from where it belongs.
It could end up influencing those nearby, altering their destinies.
Long ago, I sensed an aura just like this one.
Oh?
And I have a feeling that this shard isn't the only one that's fallen away from where it belongs. It must be returned to its rightful place.
I agree with you, but...
I sense it belongs in a faraway place. Please, let me take it there.
No! You're the last priestess of the winds, and the world is in chaos. If you were to leave this island and lose your purity...
there would be no one left to praise the winds.
But...
Perhaps her journey could bring her closer to nature and amplify her purity as a priestess. Don't you think that's just as possible?
Father...
I agree with my husband.
Sanput, Liddy, your opinions are not without merit. Still, I find myself hesitating.
Eldest one, will you not give Talim permission to leave? Elder Kalana.
Talim, think about what your name truly means.
She's gone.
I see. Talim, you'll have to wait a bit longer until you get official permission.
Okay.
The eldest one is not as sharp as she once was, you know.
Oh, listen to the pot call the kettle black.
You said it.
Such a nice breeze.
Indeed. Once you've finished your sword practice, you should hike to the mountaintop.
Great idea.
Now, let's review your lesson once more. Are you ready, Talon?
Yes.
think that's enough for today.
Thank you so much for your help.
Talim. Is Talim here?
Yes.
Unfortunately, we have a problem. The amulet. I can't find it anywhere.
What?
Not even my divination techniques can locate it. Did you happen to sense anything?
Now that you mention it, I can't sense it anywhere.
Where could it have gone? I doubt this is simply some mischievous trick.
Perhaps a foreigner carried it off. Perhaps we should be thankful it's gone now.
No, there's no telling what evils it may brew in the future. We can't relax until it's returned to its rightful place.
However...
Huh? Don't worry, everyone. I'll find it.
Oh, truly?
Talim's determined. We don't need to worry. Thank you for making the long trek. Welcome, last priestess of the winds.
I am Talim. I've come from the village of the Wind Deity. I've come today to request that you teach me the techniques of mountain maculing.
Relax your body. Once you're finished practicing, I'll make some delicious tea for you. I've never seen a child who was as beloved by the spirits as you. Looks like I don't have anything to teach you at all.
Thank you very much. Now, about the,
Oh, the amulet? If it really is as powerful as you say, you have great sensitivity to the spirit. I don't think you'll have to.
I thought so. Oh, it's nothing. Found it.
Oh, Talim! It's Talim!
You'll have to save your adventuring games for later.
Mischievous. It's true.
Demons are...
Whoa! Huh?
It's... Don't underestimate me!
Hey, tell him. Were the demons...
No, I think they're just agitated by all the...
Hey, can the foreigners...
No. Creatures of the spirit world can only be...
What?
Come on.
Each night it's more ill deeds. We're at wit.
Don't worry.
Travelers have reported attack.
I will.
The thought of them transforming and...
Please don't worry yourself. Priestesses have the ability to see through. Everything will be...
Battle 1. Fight!
Don't underestimate me! I'm sorry! Stay back!
Battle 2. Fight!
Come on! Come on! I dedicate this to the wind. Breath of the sky. Raise my dance. Blow away corruption. How did my dance look?
Battle 3. Fight! Dance look. Come on! Here I go! But you should be okay.
I knew we could count on a
Thank you. I'm sorry that there's no way for us to repay you.
It's okay. I'm just glad now. If you'll excuse...
That's she.
Eldest one?
Oh,
Yes, it...
what a fun...
Grandma, everyone seems really I think I've proven myself to the village.
When did you notice?
When the amulet went missing. I mean, you're the only one who could hide something so powerful from
Such a clever Talon. I knew, but that wouldn't be enough to convince the rest.
I know.
I'm sorry for testing.
It's okay. My name means sharp blade. Even the last priestess has to face danger sometimes in order. It sounds a bit perilous, but I like my name.
Talim, go. You're the only one who can right such a wrong, but you must promise.
I know. Such a nice bird. As long as I have the wind, I won't feel Grandma. Fellow.
Ask any adventurer, and they'll know of Verci, a wealthy merchant from South Italy, and his underground treasury, the Money Pit. After getting rich in the weapons trade and earning the title of Merchant of Death, Verci set sail with his fleet to find the legendary Soul Edge. But during his quest, Verci learned his entire fortune had been lost in the chaos of a war that broke out in Italy. Half crazed, Verci hid what little he had left in the impenetrable Money Pit, located on a small island in the Mediterranean. There he stationed a grotesque guardian, who silently and mercilessly disposed of all who entered, quickly becoming the fear of all looters. In recent years, however, a new rumor began to spread among some adventurers. Historic rainfall had caused flooding in the Money Pit, destroying most of its traps. The Guardian had also vanished, leaving the treasure free for the taking.
I can't believe we got through the Money Pit that easily. Thanks for the help, Ivy.
Looks like that tip about the Money Pit being abandoned was true.
Yeah, all we had to do was rely on that trusty sword of yours. Traps don't scare us as long as we have you. But hey, aren't you gonna take any of the treasure for yourself?
I only care for items related to Soul Edge, and I already have what I wanted. Now I just need to find Verci's notes.
Always so serious. You're beautiful and you're strong, so, you know, we could... Huh? What the hell is that? What?
The sword's resonating?
Hey, what did you go quiet for? Whoa, don't drop the treasure there! Huh? Oh, this is a head!
Above you! Ready your weapon!
Huh?
I knew this was too good to be true. That's your target, Blade. The Guardian! Ha! Slice up everything that comes near us, Blade! I missed? Oh no! Ugh, I'm at a disadvantage fighting here! My blade! Show me the way out!
In the deepest room of the dark underground vault, there was a magnificent sarcophagus and chair illuminated by torchlight. Before it stood a lanky, grotesque man, the guardian feared by looters, with his head bowed in respect. His name was Voldo, a dark vestige of the talented man who had once served as Verci's right hand. Long years underground had robbed Voldo of his sight and sanity. Before his dead master's sarcophagus, he reported his failures. Voldo deeply regretted the fact that he had left the money pit for 3 years in order to find Soul Edge. And although he was completely alone, Voldo heard a familiar voice.
Thank you for your report, Voldo. With new challenges often come failure. Learn from your failures, and you shall be wiser. While you were in the outside world, the money pit was flooded, and the traps were all destroyed. Now then, enough lamenting. You have important work to do. But there's one thing we must do first. I'm sure you have felt it, right? The aura emanating from the swordswoman Ivy. My merchant's intuition speaks to me. That aura comes from the legendary sword I spent years seeking, Soul Edge. She also stole a portion of my notes, which are some of my most valuable possessions. And of course, we can't let the other thieving rats get away with the treasure they stole. Therefore, Voldo, I shall give you 2 missions. Your first is to track down that woman and acquire all the clues you can concerning Soul Edge. Your second is to reclaim my notes, as well as all the pieces of my collection that were stolen. Some of the vermin still remain on this island. Exterminate them first, and reclaim what they stole. I'm counting on you, my loyal servant.
Look at the jewel on this sword!
That's really something. Not that I expected any less from Verci's collection.
What was that sound? The wind? Ah! You're finished!
The adventurers had looted a number of the with Verci's treasure before him. Voldo reminisced as he held in his hand, amid the moonlight reflecting off the blood-stained blades.
What? You've never seen a pair of Jamadars? They're also known as Bundidak. Other merchants call them guitars. But then, if you wish to become the next merchant of death someday, you'll need to... Here, I'll lend them to you. But my instincts tell me they will...
Ivy's scent was fading, but that did little to hinder Voldo, honing his senses for years underground, which allowed him to sense invisible auras that peep. As Voldo moved north, tracking Ivy's unique aura, he...
Hand it over, Grit!
Wait, take...
Why? What was that? What's...
You idiot! What? Bring up! I don't care what kind of monster you are. You'll not have...
The scent of Verchi's treasures wafted up from the golden... It was the item that launched Verchi's quest for the golden treasures of the Orient.
You want to stop looking for...
Verchi, we just began your search for the golden... And now you want to go off looking for a sword that's nothing more...
You're either a wolf or a sheep, Enrico. It's hunt or be hunted. Bad enough about this. I'll lead the search for Soul Edge.
What? But he's so young, and he isn't even family. Wait! Wait. Your weapon... Oh, forgive me. If only I would have protected our fortune during the war. Verchi was here. Oh. He didn't take the sword?
Whatever the case, Voldo soon disappeared. Leave. Tracking Ivy's aura, Voldo that's when he realized he had once visited this port. However, the aura's trail only led him to the ruins of the next thing Voldo knew. He was surrounded by
steal, kill.
The scent of the ocean breeze, the whispers of the name Cervantes. Together, they caused a distant memory to surge up from the deep and enlist the help of the notorious pirate Cervantes de Leon. A mission to negotiate with a pirate infamous for his... Still, Voldo journeyed to Cervantes' haunt, the
So, Verci's offering me 12 Saker cannons, along with this pistol sword. It's certainly a rare item. I see Verci taught you. It's curious, though. If he wanted to ask a favor, instead he sent a... My. A bullet grazes your cheek, and you don't even blink. Not bad. I've taken a liking. 4 top-of-the-line culverin cannons, and 4 falconets. I want Verci to send me the same things he gave to the... I'll accept the deal, and let you return with good news.
As Voldo tracked Ivy east, her aura grew. The first was that Ivy had crossed the mountains, and the other was that he was not alone in this hunt. Regardless of who they were, So it was that Voldo decided to...
The doomed woman with the blood of the cursed sword in her vein. I don't like the idea of being ordered to eliminate a mere woman, and...
Once you see her blade in action, you'll change your mind.
Don't worry. I'm ready for whatever happens. We should have been engaging the enemy by now. Where's the signal?
Who the hell's this?
You dare! You dare!
Ready? Perish!
We're being attacked by an unidentified entity.
Having fun? Oh, right. I forgot you never thought the day would come when I'd be saved by you. Long time no see. I could sense you approach. I've gained a lot of experience since we last met. I also did a research on the Merchant of Death, and the young man who worked as someone whose life was also ruined by that cursed sword. You want this box, right? Then fight me. I see you taking possession of the spirit. Know your place! Silence! Predictable! I still owe you for before.
Battle 2. Fight!
Playtime is over!
3. Fight!
Predictable! I still owe you for before. I'll make you submit! I'll make you submit! Enjoy your treat! Give it up already! Submit! Predictable! I still owe you for before. No! A loyal blade. You know, I feel I don't need this, but let me tell you what the soul is. If you want to see for yourself, farewell.
After throwing Verci's box back to Voldo, Ivy leapt off the cliff and used her snake. Voldo could have followed her, but the risk of dropping the... since he had already collected several other treasures. Standing before Verci's sarcophagus once more, Voldo before long, amid an ear...
Well, you have my thanks. I find it hard to believe that Soul Edge was first. We should rejoice that my treasures... Also, the woman may have... But in this box... The letters we exchanged while you were these easily contain more. I'm sure she would want to get... However... is because it's a record of my...
The fact that Voldo still remained loyal to his master long after his demise proved deep within the dark pit. In a hollow darkness lit only, Voldo basked in a new, blissful light, born from...